guys, it's Liv and welcome back to my channel, Endless Pages. Today I am going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I've heard this tag has been going on for a couple of years and this is the first time I get to do it, so I'm very excited about that. I've got 13 questions here to answer, and just a quick update. My Goodreads goal for this year is 40 books. And I'm currently 2 books behind schedule, I believe. I've read 17 so far this year, so I'm pretty happy with that personally. Much better than where I was this time last year. So let's just jump into the questions. Question number 1 is the best book you've read so far this year. This one for me was a pretty easy answer, and that is The House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. This is a young adult book, of course. What else do I read? It's like a young adult fantasy. And it's a book about these 3 sisters who go missing when they're young, and they are found a month later with no memory of what happened to them, and their eye colour and hair colour has changed. You jump to years later, and you read from the middle sister's perspective, and the elder sister has gone missing again, and they have to figure out whether it has anything to do with when they went missing when they were younger. This book is really dark and it makes you feel like yucky when you read, but in a good way, because it's meant to be really twisty and dark. I couldn't put this book down. I thought the writing was absolutely fantastic. I really loved reading from the main characters' perspectives. I think this book was so creative and haunting, and it just kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time I read it. I can't say enough good things about this book. It was a fantastic read. So definitely the number 1 book I've read so far this year, but we're only halfway through the year, so we'll see what happens. The second question is best sequel you've read so far this year. This one also an easy answer, and that is Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I obviously can't say too much about the second book because spoilers. The first one is about a girl called Pip who's in high school, and in her small town a girl called Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend Sal. But our main character Pip, knew Sal when he's younger and just couldn't believe that he would be the one to commit that crime. So for her final project of the school year, Pip decides to investigate Andy Bell and discover what happened to her that night she was murdered. This turns into a dangerous hunt for the truth. We find a lot of people in the town that aren't telling the truth, that are not trustworthy, and the more Pip investigates, the more dangerous the case gets for her, and someone is out for her because she is the only one willing to get to the bottom of it. Both books were really, really fast-paced. I know sometimes murder mysteries can drag a bit, but these two, something is happening every page. The sequel really outdid itself with the pacing. It was so quick. You couldn't put it down because every chapter had some new big reveal, which made it easy to pump through. I read this book in a day. Great fun twists, really cool mystery, and she does a bit of a podcast as well, so some of the book is you're reading the transcript of the podcast, and reading through her notes as she investigates. I like when they do formats like that in books. Keeps it a bit interesting and it feels like you're going along with the investigation as well. So definitely the best sequel I've read so far this year. I can't wait for the 3rd book to come out at the end of this year. The third question is a new release you haven't read yet but want to. My answer for this question is The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He. This is a relatively new release. It's a young adult science fiction book, and it's about 2 sisters who are trying to find each other in this world where there's an eco-city and that's floating above Earth. That's where one of the sisters is. The other sister woke up on the shore of an abandoned island with no memory of how she got there. She lives in a shack with an AI, and she only has one memory, that she has to escape and find her sister. This one has really caught my attention because I can't say I've read a blurb like that before. It sounds super interesting. And also the cover. I say this every time. It's a stunning cover. I haven't heard of Joan He before, so it's a cool new author I'll hopefully be discovering as well. So this one, hopefully I get to it soon. Really soon, and not just say that and read it in like a year. So yeah, I'll make sure to get to this one soon. Question 4 is a most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So I am very excited for the book Aurora's End, which comes out November 9th, and it's the third in the Aurora Cycle trilogy by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, some Aussie authors. This is a young adult space adventure. I love the first 2 books. They're fun, they're fast paced, they're found family, which is my favourite trope. It's kind of about this misfit group of teenagers that come out of a space academy, and they discover a character called Aurora, who's been trapped in cryosleep for centuries, and she is the key to a war millions of years in the making. So it's about this misfit crew working together to save the world. It's laugh out loud funny, like the banter's so good, the action's fun, it's set in space, so I'm really excited to see how the story ends in the 3rd book at the end of the year. Question number 5 is the biggest disappointment of the year so far, and that has got to be, for me, Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas. This is a young adult Peter Pan retelling. It's about this girl called Wendy and her 2 brothers, John and Michael, who go missing in the woods, and only Wendy returns with no memory of what happened to her. They still don't know where John and Michael are. Jump 2 years later when Wendy is 17, I think she's meant to be. I'm not 100%, I can't remember. I think she's meant to be 17. And children in her town start to go missing again. Wendy's driving down a road through the woods where she almost hits Peter, an unconscious boy, with her car, and he tells her that she is the only one that can help him find the missing children. So I thought it'd be really cool, like a young adult like adventure, trying to find the missing kids. My cat is hitting the camera. Yeah, so I thought it'd be really fun and fast-paced, a mystery. I thought it'd be cool to read a Peter Pan retelling from more of a bit of a young adult perspective as well. I like fairy tale retellings with a darker, older twist, but it was dead boring. Nothing happens till the last, like, I don't know, like 30 pages. There's a bit of a twist at the end, which did catch me by surprise, so I enjoyed that. I thought I'd DNF it, but I was already too far through. I was like, I may as well finish this off. I hated having to pick it up. It was like a chore to finish, and yeah, it was really disappointing. You just kind of read Wendy's day-to-day life, which is not very interesting to read about, so that was disappointing. I am still going to try Aidan Thomas's other book, Cemetery Boys, though, because I heard that is a good Question number 6 is the biggest surprise of the year so far. I'm going to say The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And question 7 is the favourite new author. I'm going to say this is the author of this book, which is Madeline Miller. I really surprised myself by liking this book. I don't usually read Greek mythology, so I didn't think I would be able to get into this one as much as like everyone else was. Literally everyone on Book Talk was recommending this book, saying it was beautiful and sad and well written. So I jumped on the hype train, and 100% I'm so happy that I did. I thought it was a beautiful book. It was beautifully written. It was sad. I loved the love story, and I didn't really mind the Greek mythology at all. I found it interesting, actually. So maybe that I've now discovered I also kind of like Greek mythology books as well. Madeline Miller, she writes beautifully, made me fall in love with this book. Also, I read at the back of the book that she put like 11 years of research into this book, which I really admire the dedication to getting the Greek mythology aspects of this book accurate. So that's another reason I like her. Also, I'm now just like instant buying anything else she writes. I also bought Circe by her. So I hoping she's going to become a new favourite author. I hope I like this one as well. I'm also going to combine question 8 and 9, and that is the newest fictional crush and the newest favourite character. I couldn't really think of any other fictional crush, so I'm saying Nikolai from the Shadow and Bone series, specifically Siege and Storm. I read this book last month and it's kind of really slow. I found myself struggling to want to read it a bit, even though I do love the Grishaverse. This book, the pacing is just really slow, and when Nikolai's character is introduced, it just like brings life back into it. It's fun to read his arrogance and his comments. He makes the book fun and exciting, and I think it's really the reason I was able to enjoy this book as much as I did. I love Nikolai. I can't wait to read more about him in Ruin and Rising, and I think in the King of Stars book as well. He's fun, he's arrogant, he's smart ass, so it's really fun to read his character. Makes you laugh out loud and really saved this book for me. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry, and for this one I'm going to say The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Yeah, this book made me cry a lot. It's about this woman called Nora, and she is on the verge of death when she wakes up in this library, and this library is a place between life and death. And in this library is filled with hundreds of books, and in each book is a different version of her life. So had she made a different decision or took a different path in life, these are all the different variations of her life that could have been. So Nora gets to open the book and explore the different ways her life could have gone. This is a beautifully sad book. Just a trigger warning, there is mental health and suicide discussions. It's beautiful book about, I guess, self-discovery, and Nora has a lot of regrets in her life, and she gets to explore what would have happened if she had made different decisions, been with different people, and it's a really beautiful book of discovering herself and taking away that burden of regrets that she placed on herself for all of the things she didn't do in life. This book made me really think deeply about my identity. It made me cry sad tears for Nora and happy tears as well. I thought the ending was beautiful. This book is really sad, but in a good way. I recommend everyone read it. I think everyone in their life, no matter your age, is in a different part of discovering different parts of your identity and what you want to do in life. So this is a fantastic read. Made me really cry a lot. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy, and even though it's going to be a weird one, I'm going to say it anyway, and that is How the King of Elfham Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. This is kind of a book set after the end of the Cruel Prince trilogy by Holly Black, which is about a girl, human girl, and her two sisters who her parents are murdered by a fae, and they're taken to live with him in Fae, and the main character really wants to make something of herself there and prove herself. The trilogy is an amazing story. Enemies to Lovers, I absolutely love it. However, the final book, Queen of Nothing, was really disappointing to me. The ending felt kind of too easy and rushed after the real struggles of the first couple of books, and nothing came easy in those books. And I know she was maybe just wanting to give us a little bit of happiness after everything we went through in the books, but I just thought the ending was too quick and too easy. So I was really disappointed by the ending, and then I read this book and it made the ending so much better, made up for it. It's a beautiful set of short stories with some just stunning illustrations. Yeah, it's got some stories about the love interest's childhood, Carden, his childhood, and some stories about what happens to our main characters just after the end of Queen of Nothing, the final book in the trilogy. It's a beautiful book. There's some really fun stories in here. I really feel like it did our characters justice and gave us the ending that we really deserved. So reading this book made me very happy. I also just bought this hard copy the other day. I have the soft copy, but I couldn't help myself because apparently I love wasting money I don't have. I just had to get in the hardcover, so I'm even happier now. Question 12 is the most beautiful book you bought so far this year. I'm gonna have to say Firekeeper's Daughter. Look at this cover, it is stunning. It's about a girl who's helping the FBI investigate some drug-related deaths and protecting her community as well. I just think the cover is, I bent it, ignore that, just stunning, so pretty, and the blurb also sounds awesome, so win-win. I will get to this eventually, like I always say, but yeah, Firekeeper's Daughter. Question number 13 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I could talk for hours about this. I need to read the Percy Jackson series. I read the first book, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and really loved it. I haven't gone back to it since. I also need to read The Heartstopper by Alice Osman graphic novels. Yeah, I have all of them. Haven't read a single one. I also said at the start of the year, oh, this year's the year I'm going to catch up on all the Shadowhunter books, which is such like a big commitment to make. And we're halfway through the year and I haven't started that commitment. I read the Mortal Instruments series back in high school, one of my faves. I've read the Clockwork Angel series and I've read Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, but I haven't read anything else. My plan is to start and go chronologically, so I'm going to reread this series and the Clockwork Angel series just because it's been a while since I've read them. So I've got 6 months to do that. So hopefully I will get through that because that was like my one goal this year, to get up to date with Shadowhunters. So we will see if that actually happens. So yeah, that was the mid-year book freakout tag. I hope you enjoyed that. It was fun to film. It's fun to reflect on the awesome books I've read so far this year, and makes me excited for the next 6 months of reading. Let me know if you've read any of these books in the comments, or let me know the answers to your questions. I'll tag the original creators in the comments and I'll write out all the questions as well. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you next time. Bye!